whacked around. Chaos has ensued.
Noodles flying, shoulder tackles into the corner.
Look.
Oh! Like, that's got to be it. That's got to be it.
I think you've
Scott
called
Holiday taking a DDT right now.
I think.
I hate the spoiler. If you want to see more of that match, along with the whole show of Midsummer Nightmare put on by High Tension Wrestling, you can click that link right there. But you can also stay right here and watch this video. You already started, so let's plug in. This very Saturday was supposed to be Tournament of Death 20 years of ultra-violence. Unfortunately, due to weather and the fact that the event takes place outside, we will not be able to have Tournament of Death on the 23rd. Instead, Tournament of Death has now moved to October 7th, but will still take place at 179 Ebenezer Church Road in Townsend, Delaware. And I can announce that in the first round, we will have a rematch of the finals of Tournament of Death 19 as Bobby Beverly takes on Mickey Knuckles, this time in a drunken Taipei death match. Alcohol and broken glass shall be taped to their wrists for the battle. And if you look at the graphic, you'll see that it says September 23rd. Ignore that! It's going to be October 7th, so make sure you get your tickets at czwrestling.com. Saturday, September 30th, it is the High Tension Super Show. High Tension Wrestling, Smashmaster, Orochi, and CFU combined to give you a super show of entertainment where you will see the Campeonatos de Ranas on the line as the outfielders defend against Ethan Wild LLC. That's Ethan Wild and Brian Ace, the newest member of Ethan Wild LLC. Will Ethan Wild finally be able to get his hands on Big Wood? Find out on September 30th. And in a CFU-sanctioned match, Adina Steele takes on Harleen Lopez. It's going to be a fantastic afternoon of entertainment, so be sure to join us September 30th at 1301 South Christopher Columbus Boulevard in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Doors open at 3:30, the bell rings at 4, and we will see you there. The very next day, October 1st, in beautiful Havre de Grace, Maryland State Theater, it is Limelight 21, where the CZW World Championship will be on the line as Rich Swann takes on Griffin McCoy. Griffin McCoy, since day one, has had one thing in mind, and that is that CZW World Heavyweight Championship. And now that it is within his reach, will he let it escape his grasp, or will we be saying, and new World Heavyweight Champion, it is Top Guy time, Griffin McCoy. Also, Jared Diaz of the Board has a vendetta against Zeta Steel, and Zeta has had enough of it. So one-on-one, it is Zeta Steel versus Jared Diaz in a CZW Rules I Quit match. After all the times Jared Diaz has left Zeta lying, Zeta has nothing but revenge on her mind. So please be sure to join us on October 1st in Havre de Grace, Maryland. Doors open at 3 o'clock. The bell rings at 4. You're not going to want to miss this one. Today on the Soapbox, we're talking about something that you might not expect, but here we go. We are talking about the SAG-AFTRA strike. Currently, the Screen Actors Guild and the Writers Guild are on strike due to unfair wages. And you might be thinking, actors asking for more money. That sounds like rich people trying to get more rich. Let me first start by correcting that. The Screen Actors Guild is basically every actor that is working today. Basically, anyone that you've seen in a commercial, in the background of a big epic drama scene, or is serving coffee to your favorite comic actor in a sitcom is part of the Screen Actors Guild. The Screen Actors Guild allows them to work on union projects as well as provide things like making sure that they are not taken advantage of, that they work specific hours and are not forced to work overtime, and of course health benefits. Now they are on strike, so they can't do any of those things because they are not being treated fairly by studios that want to exploit actors and make them do more work for less money. They want to be able to own footage of actors and be able to put it in anything. So basically, an actor will be in the background of a stadium shot for one film, and then anytime that they're using a stadium, they'll just plug that back in. This seems unfair because they're only getting paid once to then appear in multiple films. So that's one of many reasons why the actors and the writers are on strike right now. And this is something that I support, and I hope that you support it as well, but I want to talk about the greater impacts of this. Right now, there are no comedies, dramas, movies in production, with a few exceptions. I'll get to those. There are a few things that can exist. Right now, you can have daytime talk, even though things like The Bill Maher Show and Drew Barrymore were going to come back and were successfully bullied into not doing that. Bullying works. I know that sounds sarcastic, but I'm actually happy that that happened, so big thumbs up there. But shows like The View are continuing to go on, but you can't have actors on as a guest and discuss their projects. You could have John Hamm come on and I guess talk about football, but I don't know why you'd want to do that. So The View is basically focusing more on bringing on politicians, athletes, and musicians to fill in those spots as guests on The View and shows like that. You can do game shows and reality shows. There's been a big influx of game shows and reality shows. You might have noticed things like Survivor and The Amazing Race have gone to 90-minute episodes. And things like Celebrity Jeopardy and Celebrity Family Feud showing up more and more often. You're allowed as a celebrity to go on a game show. You just can't promote anything. Like if Matthew Lillard is on Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, that's good for the show. And he's a notable celebrity, so that'll bring eyes to Wheel of Fortune. You can't ask him about Five Nights at Freddy's. You're not allowed to do that because he can't promote anything, but you can still have him on as a game show contestant. But he can't do any acting, he can't be in any movies, so all those things are being brought to an end. Unless it's an A24 film, apparently A24 has come to terms with the demands of the Writers Guild, and they're currently the only studio that is producing films and filming right now. That is a real thing that's happening right now. So support A24 films. They're paying their actors. And of course, professional wrestling can still happen. And that is what the main crux of this soapbox is about. First off, it shows a huge problem with professional wrestling. There have been many attempts for people to unionize as professional wrestlers, and they tend to get broken up and squashed very quickly. I remember when Zelina Vega got dismissed from the WWE. She immediately tweeted that she believed in wrestling unions because she wanted to keep her Twitch channel while remaining employed, and the WWE saw things differently. Even though she's an independent contractor, they felt that they had the right to shut down her secondary source of income in her Twitch channel. This continues to be a struggle. And I hope I'm not blowing anyone's mind when I say this. Wrestling has writers, but none of those writers are union. There is no wrestling writers union. They're not a unionized group, nor do they use union writers to create things like Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown and Dynamite. So, because they're all non-union, they are currently not on strike. The only one that's currently on strike is Nick Namath, because he's the Hollywood hunk and he is an actor, not just because CM Punk sent him home. So what does this mean? Well, first off, I would love it to mean that we see a wrestling strike soon. I would love it if we saw the wrestlers take this moment to see the strikes that are going on and realize that they are being mistreated. Because right now we have the writers and the actor strike. The auto union is also currently on strike, and the video game union is about to go on strike. And currently the visual effects artists formed a union, which will also be considering a strike when their contracts are coming up. So this would be a great time, with all entertainment shutting down, for people to move their eyes to wrestling, because wrestling will be a new product that is on TV consistently. If you can't watch a sitcom, if you can't watch a new drama, and if you're sick of reality TV, there is professional wrestling. And professional wrestlers could take this as an opportunity to seize power and make a statement. I don't think that's going to happen, but it does bring up another interesting thing that seems to be happening. Did you notice The Rock came back? The Rock returned to the WWE. Why? Simply because he currently cannot act in any films. He has no income coming in, and with all this free time, and that he's not acting and he's not currently having to do anything with the XFL because it's in the off season, he's now open to do business in the world of wrestling. So we saw him return on SmackDown out of nowhere. Now you could see this as The Rock crossing the picket line. He is an actor who is now performing on television, something that no one else in the union can do. But because he has this skill in the world of professional wrestling, this is something he can do. I'm telling you, first off, do not be mad at The Rock. The Rock has made good for the writer's strike. He has supported the actor's strike with a huge donation. A donation that we don't know the amount, but we do know that when the guild received it, they felt a little embarrassed because it was so generous. This makes a lot of sense because The Rock is pretty much the biggest star in Hollywood right now. He's made millions and millions of dollars with million-dollar movies, and he can afford to spend some money to support the writer's strike. And when that goes to the writer's strike, what is actually happening is the Writers Guild and the Actors Guild is taking in money so that they can continue to pay actors and writers who are out of work so that they don't all lose their homes. So thank you to Dwayne Johnson for supporting writers, supporting actors, and I can completely understand why you would return to being the most electrifying man in all of the WWE. But I can't help but notice John Cena's back. John Cena is not just back, but he's been back consistently. We saw him hosting Payback. What was it? Was it Payback? Was it No Mercy? One of the non-important pay-per-views. John Cena was the host, the star, because he also can't make Peacemaker right now, and he can't make any other films right now. So he has returned to the WWE almost in a full-time capacity. So I'd like to take this time to implore you, John, to make a donation to the Screen Actors Guild and the Writers Guild. They're going to need your support, and you're going to want to work there when this is all over. So please be sure to do that. But it's also very interesting that we're now in this situation where we have a lot of celebrities that are without work and have a lot of free time. So could we see more of this return to wrestling? I'm looking at you, Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista, of course, retired after going to the Hall of Fame and having that one last match with Triple H so he could go be Drax and then stop being Drax because he's sick of being Drax. Dave Bautista is a fantastic actor, but right now, he's got nothing to do. The WWE, of course, would welcome you with open arms. And there's a lot of other people that you might not immediately jump to that have the skills in ring that could actually make a pretty interesting impact in the world of professional wrestling. Stephen Amell. You remember Arrow? Stephen Amell has ties to AEW and the WWE. He's wrestled in both companies, technically, because I know the first AEW pay-per-view wasn't really a WWE. I know. But he wrestled at All In before AEW existed. He's also wrestled in the WWE, tagging with Pac. No, what was his name? Neville, to take on the Cosmic King, Wade Barrett, and his secret best friend in Stardust, Cody Rhodes. Stephen Amell has wanted to cross the picket lines. There's a few things that he said where he wants to get back to work and is encouraging the strike to end. And if he's that antsy, I could see him perhaps wanting to make the jump into the WWE. Or maybe we'll have a former WCW champion return. What's David Arquette up to? Now, David Arquette, of course, has wrestled in the WWE. I believe he's in the Hall of Fame. I'm pretty sure they inducted him. He had a tables match on Raw. And then he had a fantastic film that I highly recommend called You Cannot Kill David Arquette, where he talks about his journey through the indies. He has a death match with Nick Gage where he almost dies. Death match. I've gained a lot of respect for the work that David Arquette put into not just becoming a wrestler, but just improving his shape and his cardio and his body so he could perform at a higher level. And now, with nothing left to do and he can't promote those Scream movies, perhaps it is time to join back into that squared circle. One person that I think that we've never really took advantage of the fact that she knows how to work in a ring now is Alison Brie. Alison Brie, who you might know as Little Annie Adderall from Community, also Princess Unikitty from the Lego Movie. She was the lead in Glow. And she was actually backstage at the Royal Rumble when Glow was in its first season, and I was so sure she was going to be in the Royal Rumble, and the fact that she wasn't broke my heart. We are now a few years removed from Glow getting canceled on Netflix, but I have nothing but glowing reviews for Alison Brie, so perhaps we could see Alison Brie come back and get back into the ring. We've never got to see her have a singles match, and WrestleMania is not that far away, and the Royal Rumble, it would be a real fun surprise, and I fully expect this strike to be continuing on past then, so that's something else we could possibly see. Kurgan! Kurgan was in Sherlock Holmes. Do you remember? I barely remember the movie. Do you remember Kurgan? He was an oddity. He's a wrestler. He could come back. They're not all winners, but I'm saying right now that the crossover appeal of the WWE and Hollywood is something that TKO, the new company that owns all of this, would be interested in. We may see a return, stay with me, of the guest host era. It was very common during this era to have celebrities on, even if they weren't promoting anything. Florence Henderson, who was from the Brady Bunch, was a host of Monday Night Raw one week. She didn't really have anything else going on, but it was cool to see her. And now with all of these actors with nothing else to do and no income, this could be a good time for the WWE to welcome them in. Could it be seen as crossing the picket line? Yes. But is it as bad as crossing the picket line as going on Celebrity Wheel of Fortune? I think that they're somewhat in the same boat. And, you know, if actors don't stay in the public eye, they lose value. And while the strike is important, their career is the thing that allows them to buy food and care for their family. So the WWE is going to become more and more interesting and valuable to actors during this time. So this could be a huge opportunity for the WWE to reach out to Hollywood and create new relationships. And we may see a very star-studded WrestleMania in Philadelphia. But that's not the main thing that I was getting on my soapbox for. You see, I bring up A24 a few moments ago because they actually paid what they should pay. They actually allow their writers and their actors to be paid on the scale that they've requested from the guild and from these unions, and thus they're allowed to produce content. So imagine if there was someone with an interest in professional wrestling that is part of the Screen Actors Guild and could take this moment as an opportunity to create a fair wrestling company that treats their wrestlers the way that the actors are treated in the Screen Actors Guild, treats their writers the way that the Writers Union treats their writers. Do it all correctly. Pay maybe even some fans to be background for the shows. We talked about Wrestling Society X a while ago. A lot of the fans in the bunker of that show were paid extras. So maybe if you need to create this brand new show, get some paid extras. Allow some of these people who are currently striking and can't make money elsewhere to make money through professional wrestling. This could be a good time to start a new company. A company on a platform that you already own. I stand here on my soapbox, looking into this camera, speaking really to only one person. Dear Mr. Freddie Prinze Jr., I know that you are considering starting a wrestling company. I know that you own Premiere, which is also the home of CZW, where I do commentary. So thank you. I appreciate you, boss, for allowing my project and voice to be heard on your company. I hope you see the opportunity that is laid before you. This is a very small window in time, Mr. Freddie Prinze Jr., where you can create your company in the image and with the ethics of the Writers Guild and the Actors Guild. You can create a wrestling company that's done right, that's treated like it is a television show, that treats its wrestlers like they are actors that you've cast in a role of a wrestling show, that treats its bookers like writers who are creating stories with these characters that is presented on television each and every week. You can take this moment to do everything right. Freddie Prinze Jr., if you truly do have an interest in starting a wrestling company, do it now. The window of opportunity is not going to stay open long, but this is the moment. You can do it right. And I could be your commentator. You could hit me up on X. I'm at _Scott Holiday. I'm also on Instagram. Just send me a DM. It'd be great to hear from you. And also, I know that he was a writer for the WWE for years, so he knows how incorrectly he was treated over at the WWE, and he can create a product that's done right and would make a lot of news right now. So I know this was a weird soapbox. Thank you so much for staying all the way to the end. Send this to Freddie Prinze Jr. That's what I ask. You don't even need to subscribe this week. I want you to subscribe, but if you only do one thing, if I only get one call to action, send this to Freddie Prinze Jr. and get on him to start a wrestling company. It's a big ask, I know. What do you think? Is this absolutely insane? Do you support the writer's strike and the actor's strike? I certainly hope you do. And do you believe wrestlers should unionize? Maybe I'll do a whole video about unions and the WWE wrestlers and wrestlers in general sometime soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.